Alrighty, how's it been, everybody? I have been gone for a week. I have been toiling away, both editing, doing some favors for friends, and so on. But I am back, and I know that this chapter came out like 4 days ago, and if you listen to leaks, it probably came out a week ago at this point. But it's time for me to react to chapter 1189. And before I forget, I got to turn off the filters because it has been a while since I've done this. I can't get this stream taken down by Viz, or Shueisha, rather. So yeah, we'll just turn off the green screen. And voila, I'm not showing any panels. Anywho, just a reminder that my little hiatus from streaming was announced in my Discord, so if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, the Discord is the way to stay informed. Otherwise, you just gotta watch every single video I do, and then wait till the ending or outro where I talk about any news or updates on the channel. Because that is the only other way you're gonna get informed. Because I'm not on Twitter anymore. I have the account, I don't really use it. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I have the account, I don't use it. I do my updates personally through sometimes in YouTube posts if there's something big coming up, and otherwise it's always going to be in the Discord. And now, as a brief refresher, I actually was chatting with some friends about One Piece like a day or two ago, so it's a little bit fresh in my mind what happened in the last chapter that we did read. In the last chapter that we did read, I believe it ended with Luffy getting skewered by Emu. So I'm really excited to see where the story ends up going from here, because it is up in the air. Because it's very clear that Luffy is not strong enough to defeat Emu at this time, but at the same time, Emu has very clearly established from early on in this fight that he kind of has a time limit. And Loki was also heavily injured before this fight began as well, so it's no surprise that he eventually lost as well. So I'm wondering if we're going to slowly transition out of this fight and start moving towards Zoro and Sanji's fight. But I see the name of today's chapter, so that's going to hinder my theory on whether or not we go cut to Sanji and Zoro this chapter, because chapter 1189 is chapter King of the World, which means this is going to be a heavily Emu-focused chapter if it is paced out correctly. Alright, so we have another cover page art request. It is Nami basically scolding some monkeys, the Maxim monkeys. If you know who the Maxim monkeys are, it's see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. There's actually a fourth one, which is do no evil, which a lot of people kind of forget about. One of my favorite little groups in a series was called Wise Man, and they were based off the Maxim. They were pretty funny. All four of them. I think it was Kikaza, Mikaza, Shizu, and I forget the fourth one's name. Goro or something. I don't remember. Anywho, that's enough of a side content. I think we should just move into the chapter proper at this point. So, hopefully it's a long one, because I think I remember the last couple chapters being a little bit on the shorter side because they were so action-heavy. Let's move on to pages 2 and 3. Alrighty, Bloody Luffy is the very first panel of the chapter. Wait, what? Did he just ninja substitution jutsu out of being stabbed? That doesn't even make any sense! Usopp's freaking out too. Usopp is me. This man is me. What is it, Usopp? What happened? Luffy's okay, right? What do you... What? What do you mean? Don't scare me. When has Luffy ever not been okay? Consider what it means that this enormous giant was defeated, Nami. Thank you, Jinbei, for talking some sense into Nami. Hey, Fishman, who's been defeated? Okay, Loki, shut up. You're on the ground and you're on your back and you're bleeding out. And from what Chopper said medically, you shouldn't have even been fighting to begin with. There's no doubt that Luffy's haki suddenly grew much weaker. Wow, Jinbei telling us right out the gate. Oh, wait, no, he didn't substitution jutsu. Oh, I just missed the framing because Emu is so big and the tree is so big. Luffy is actually being skewered up against the tree. Oh, that's much worse. He didn't substitution jutsu. My eyes were playing tricks on me. And not showing me what was actually on the panel. That being said, if we go through the power set of what Gear 5 can do, I'm sure Oda could make up a whole list of restrictions and rules for how this thing violates the laws of nature and whatnot. And just let Luffy do whatever. He pulled goggles out of his hair that one time and a baseball bat, so it's like the logic doesn't need to apply as selectively as it has been. Well, on that note, that covers just about everything here. It looks like Usopp appears to have seen and or sensed what happened there, which kind of makes sense since he's got like the whole... out of the group, only him and Jinbei there have observation haki that we're aware of. So it makes sense that Usopp and Jinbei were the ones that were able to detect what happened. I kind of would like to assume that Nami has observation haki because of her weird ability to predict the weather that was never been really looked into at a high depth level at any point in the series at this point. It's just a power she has. Maybe we'll get some insight to that eventually, but so far we haven't. And we have a freaking god of the rain on this island right now. Do you think she can detect that? I wonder if Oda's going to have that be relevant soon. Anyway, I think I've stalled on these 2 pages long enough. It's time for me to go react to pages 4 and 5. Music's real quiet. Alright, pages 4 and 5. Right. The whole Shuri subplot. There, the ice is totally melted now. Princess Shuri. Don't heat her up too quick, alright? Not to worry. I have no body warmth. What? That doesn't help, Brooke. What happened to you after that? What happened to all those years ago? It is you, isn't it? Princess Shuri. Oh. The squirrel's getting a little antsy. Ragnar, please do not interfere. It's safe, right, Brooke? If she's still in it's safe, right, Brooke? If she's still in the scary version, we're going too fast for it. What's going on? We're cutting away to Haruden in the middle of a sentence? That's kind of annoying. Okay, the little flying... I forget what it was called. The Svarg? The little floating ship that they have. Looks like Harden's crashing out of that. And they crashed right into Loki. That's hilarious. Guard point. Thanks, Chopper. What are you guys trying to do? Harden, Gerd, Chopper. Aw, Gerd's hugging Chopper. Chopper's kind of huge right now. The scale of Chopper's guard point is kind of ridiculous if Gerd looks smaller than Chopper in this paneling. That's kind of crazy to think about. Thank you, Chopper. You're so cute and helpful. Oh, yeah? Well, you can't butter me up, you jerk. Man, I can't remember the last time we did this shtick with Chopper. There's no time to waste, Loki. Show me your wounds. Okay, Gerd treating the wounds, I guess. Gerd is the doctor of the new giant warrior pirates. That is worth mentioning, and I kind of forgot about that. Also, I believe yeah, we can still see her fingers are still patched up from when they got sliced earlier. I don't remember when we stopped to treat that. I think it did happen. I think it was shown. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Okay. So I guess it's time for me to move on to pages 5 and 6. Since we have... I'm a little bit annoyed that this Brook conversation has been sidelined. It's 4 panels. It's like 2/3 of the page 4, but then we immediately cut away from it because Haruden in a boat is going to crash land into Loki. I don't even remember where Haruden was prior to this because it's been so long since he was relevant. I believe him and Stanson got injured fighting Emu, and that was like the last we saw of them. Or like Chopper patching up Gerd's fingers. I think would have been the last time we saw them. Because I think Gerd was with them. It makes sense since she's with them now. Okay, moving on. Let's just move on to pages 6 and 7. No puns. You're all bloody. Oh no. Yeah, some of that was because of you. What are you doing here? Oh, right, because they crashed into Loki. That's some of the blood is because of you. If you're just going to fight Haruden, then go to Loki instead. Oh, Jarl sent him here. But the children, even if you save the children, it is only a temporary reprieve. Do you really think that the plan to rule over all of Elbaph came from the decision makers at the Reverie? Of course not. I think it's him. Wait, I guess it would make sense that Jarl knows who Emu is. Loki, do you know who that guy is? Loki says, I think I do. Alright, now we're cutting to back to the Luffy versus Emu fight. Thou canst not move now. Luffy's coughing and wheezing. That sword devours thy vitality. I kind of figured, considering it was draining the vitality from the forest around when you unsheathed it in the last chapter. How many will it take to end thee, Monkey D. Luffy? A hateful name. Thou hast 2 brothers of different names. Why do you care? Port Gasti Ace, Sabo. Do we know Sabo's last name? I don't remember it. Alrighty. Now we get a pretty good close-up of the sword. It looks a little bit different from how I remember looking. It looks like just a generalized broadsword to me now. Maybe a Zweihander. It is a bit on the big side. More of a longsword, I guess you could say. So yeah, get some interesting insight between Jarl and Loki. Seem to have an idea that they seem to know who Emu is, or they have a hunch on who it is, which makes sense because they were present at the whole possession of Harold. So they're probably going to make the connection that this guy that's doing this now is the guy who was possessing Harold, or influencing Harold all the way back then. And I believe in the last chapter before this, someone speculated that he's probably the leader of the Holy Knights, which is not too far off. Alrighty, moving on to pages 8 and 9. One brother slaughtered by the Navy, the other prominent within the Revolutionary Army. Luffy's still not reacting to this. Did he just stab him again? I need to go back in the page. So Luffy's been pinned to the tree with a spear, and now he's getting stabbed again with the sword. Why? Blade of the Sea God, Fragarak. I feel like I've heard that name somewhere before. Not in One Piece, but like in mythology or something. Fragarak. I'm gonna quickly Google that in another tab. Fragarak. Irish mythology, Fragarak, or Feargthatched, the Answerer, or the Retaliator, was the sword of the sea god Mananat Macmillir. So it's the sword of the sea god. I guess that makes sense. So that's probably why I've heard it, because I have some Irish background. Sounds a little bit familiar. So Fragarak, the sea god Fragarak. And this, I guess, is the reveal of the name of the sea god in the One Piece universe. The sea god apparently has Irish origins, I guess. Is this the sea god that cursed the devil fruits since they used the power of the sea devil? Are we going to learn the name of the sea devil soon? In any case, set of most uncouth brothers, it's got to be him. The one red hair talked about. Oh, okay, so Loki's remembering something red hair told him then. I'll use this power to avenge the memory of my old man and his soldiers. Okay, what's happening? Wait, Loki, I understand your rage. What do you want, red hair? Are you going to stop me from getting revenge for my father? I considered Held a friend too. I'd be right there with you. But think carefully now. The government was trying to take control of Elbaph. That's not their end goal. It's preparation for war. Okay, that makes sense. They've long since wanted the Giants as a pawn in their schemes. And I guess Emu let it slip in a previous chapter that they tried this shtick 800 years ago by kidnapping kids to create, I guess, the Galila Giants to be forced into submission, I guess. So they're going to try to pull this trick again for some big war that's going to be like another... Maybe this is the great cleansing that's coming up. Because there was, back at the Reverie, I believe, the elders, when we first got to learn about Emu, were asking if it is time for another great cleansing. And then we end up getting the whole test thing with Lucia. So I guess this great cleansing is this big war that's coming up. So there's going to be another big war. It's going to be what the final saga is probably going to be focused around. And then that big war is going to be Emu attempting to cleanse and create a second Void Century. It all makes sense now. I might be reading a little bit too deeply into this, but it's all on the wall, and it's all based off of stuff that's been pretty openly said at this point. War is coming. Alrighty, let's start off reading pages 10 and 11 now. The world government is getting into war with someone else. Well, that ain't my problem. My father died an unjust death, and his soldiers were killed along with him. Well, not all of the soldiers. There were some survivors in the flashback, I guess. I want vengeance for these crimes, that is all. And who's guilty? Who will you strike down? The world government. The man who manipulated Harold was the king of the world. I guess Shanks would know at the time, because he was like a former, or I guess at the time, Holy Knight. At this point, like 16, 14 years ago, I think, is when this flashback takes place. So I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So what do you mean, Shanks? The entire concept of a world government is that there is no one king who... Careful, Shanks. It's fine. No one will believe it. Oh, I forgot that Gabon is sitting there on the ground. Okay. Huh. So I guess that king is the culprit. I'll take his head, nice and simple. The king's power is impossible to measure. Go to the Holy Land, and the mystery will only deepen rather than come to light. If it were that simple, someone else would have done it already. That is a good point. If destabilizing the world government was as simple as taking the head of the king of the world, someone would have done it by now. But most people don't know that there is a king of the world. And it's kind of weird that Shanks is even bringing this out in open conversation. And actually, yeah. Roxy Zebek. We see a panel of Roxy Zebek. Roxy Zebek went and attacked the Holy Land Morishwa and discovered that the king of the world and said he'd be back. It's not yet time to fight. Shut your mouth and don't tell me what to do. I don't care where this guy is. I'll destroy anything in my way. Don't be so foolish, Loki. Alright, Yarul's going to try to talk some sense into him. I left home and spent a few years abroad. In the end, I never did find my way to him. So if that's the king of the world right there, I'll never get a better chance. Oh, is Loki about to get up and start swinging again? Is that where we're heading with this? Well, I don't want to dwell on it too much longer. I'm going to move on to pages 12 and 13. A simpleton's idea of a plan. What? But I've got no problem with it. Give me a chance. To avenge my father, too. Oh, Haruden and the two brothers are going to work together, it sounds like. This is quite an absurd story. If there's a king of the world, then what are the five elders for? Good point, Jinbei. No, stop trying to interfere, if you don't mind. Oh, Brooke and Ragnir are still fighting, I guess. Oh, Chopper's translating now. He says I froze her because she's dangerous. What, you're the one who froze her? Yes, she was dangerous. Was, but I'm certain that she is being controlled. Brooke is livid and just like screaming at the top of his lungs. But he doesn't have lungs. Yo! Okay. You see this girl is like a daughter to me. Oh no, this girl's freaking out. This girl has a little thought bubble of a skeleton and a demon. That's funny. With some arrows going back and forth. Oh, Robin's here. This is all very interesting. Robin? Come to the library, Chopper. Oh, Saul. Okay, so Saul's here too, I guess. Well, that was a weird ending to that conversation. We're now cutting away. This chapter is just cutting randomly away to shit, and it's kind of getting me annoyed. I would like them to like hang on one of these plot threads just a little bit longer before we move on to the next thing. Alrighty, because it looks like Imu's summoning another weapon. This time it's an axe. Next is... this will do more than slash thee. Alas, the third will be Axe of Xingqian. Xingqian. It's cut off, so I can't tell if it's meant to be one word or two. Xingqian or Xingqian. Or Xingqian. Xingtian. I wonder if it kind of makes me think of Silver Axe, who was from Yano country. I wonder if it's going to be a reference to him. Because Silver Axe is like the only prominent axe user that we really know that has like a prominent title in the verse. But this axe belongs to whoever this Xingqian is. So whoever Xingqian is, that's probably another god. So we had like the big blade, the vitality stealing blade. Then we had the god of the blade of the sea god. And now we have this giant axe of Xingqian. Nemesis was the first blade. Now I'm remembering. Alrighty. Next up, let's move on to pages 14 and 15. What is he going to hit the axe do? What's the axe do when he hits Luffy with it? See Cloud Port in the Western Village. We cut away from that. King of Hell, 3-Sword Serpent, 103 Mercies. I guess I got what I wanted. We're cutting back to Zoro. Zoro and Somers. Dragon Damnation and Gram. Jihohi-ha-ha. Somers is still laughing his ass off as he's fighting. 800 years ago, the 19 kings who created this world took an oath of equally thrusting their weapons into the floor, the empty throne. Oh, this was a theory I heard getting tossed around, that all of these swords that Imu and weapons that he's thinking, are they the 19 swords that are in front of the empty throne? Is he just summoning all of these swords and weapons? Blade of Chaos, Tohu, Vohu, Nemesis, Longinus. That's one I recognize. That's the spear that pierced Christ on the cross. Stigma, Muramasa. That's another one I know. That's like a very legendary swordsmith in real life, I believe. I believe one of his swords was given to like President Truman at the end of World War II. It's also, I think, like Sephiroth's sword in Final Fantasy. They are the 19 weapons of those who brought the world to heel. Okay, so we're getting the backstory on the weapons. So the Blade of Chaos, or I guess the Chaos Blade. Or I guess it's comma Tohu exclamation point is the way it's phrased in the bubble. So the Blade of Chaos Tohu. Then there's Vohu, which is, I believe, the name of the chapter before this one, which was the sword that was sapping vitality. We have Nemesis. That's the one that he stabbed Loki with and took him down. Longinus we haven't seen, but that might be the base spear form that he's using, because Longinus is a spear in real life. So it would make sense that that weird spear weapon he first appeared with might be Longinus. Stigma, I think he mentioned. I don't remember which one Stigma is. Muramasa we haven't seen yet, so look forward to seeing that one, I guess. And then we got the Axa Qingshan, was just on the pages before this. So yeah, this is a very interesting... I wonder if these are also going to turn out to be... Some of these are going to turn out to be like some of the supreme grade blades. Because there's like only... What is it, like 13 of the highest grade Meito blades exist? One of which is like the Wado Ichimonji, one of which Baron Venus Juro has one. That's the Kitetsu the First or whatever it is. And then, I guess we have Whitebeard's Bicento is one of them. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a few. The Great One used Omen to bring them back and grant them to us. Oh. So Somers is wielding one right now? There are no lies among the legends each family passed down. You see, Roronoa Zolo, this is the power that conquered the world. Cool. Which weapon are you using? Oh, he's using Gram. Oh, Gram was one of those swords. I believe, if I remember correctly, Gram was one of the swords that Imu summoned at the beginning. So that means that Killingham and Somers are both going to be using one of those 19 weapons with the Omen power. So Somers is wielding Graham right now. So we have Graham, we have the Axe of Ching Shan, we have the Blade of Chaos Tohu, we have Vohu, we have Nemesis, we have Longinus, we have Stigma, we have Muramasa, we have the whatever the sword of the ocean god was called. I forgot it. It was like Fragarak. Was that it? That's 9 so far. We've seen 9 of them. All right, let's move on to pages 16 and 17, which might be the last 2 pages. Yep, there's the to be continued at the bottom. From the Shepherd family, Graham. It's got a thorned handguard. That can't be safe to hold. That's a very impractical looking weapon. And then we cut to Killingham. He has Longinus, and it's just a regular looking spear with a really cool design on it. The spear that has been passed down through the Rimshifu family, Longinus. Thou shouldst be honored to die by the weapon that created the world, by the weapons that created the world. And holy shit, the axe gets blocked by Gabon. Gabon has shown up to Luffy's aid. So it looks like Luffy versus Emu is over at this point, and it looks like Graham might be going down with the ship. I don't think Graham can beat him, but we're going to get a few chapters of probably Graham versus... sorry, not Graham. I got distracted. Not Graham. Because Graham is like in a big speech bubble right off the side. Gabon, not Graham. So Gabon versus Emu. We're going to get some Gabon versus Emu in the next couple chapters. I'm actually not going to make a prediction section at the end of this read-through now. Mainly because I've pretty much stopped and given my predictions throughout the read-through. So if you want to see a theory or a prediction of what's going to be coming next, or when it's relevant, go back and go through that on your own. We're just going to skip through and just do a little bit of a highlight section instead. So we're going to work our way back to the present from here. So we have Graham, we have Longinus, we have Stigma, we have Muramasa, we have Tohu and Vohu, we have Nemesis. We have Xingshan. And then we have Fragarak. So we've learned 9 of these 19 weapons. And a lot of this chapter, actually, now that I think about it, is focused on names. Because we do have like these 3 pages of Emu talking about how he has a bunch of ill-named brothers when he's referring to basically Ace and Sabo. Also, I guess it's really interesting, worth noting, that these are probably all the names of gods in the One Piece universe as well. It's very likely that these are all names of gods or people that have slayed gods. Because the blade of the sea god, Fragarak. I guess this isn't the name of the sea god in hindsight. This is just the name of the sea god's sword. So we have a sword now that we see in 2 panels. One of Emu summoning it, and then another on the following page of him skewering Luffy with it. The fact that Luffy ain't dead yet just shows how resilient he is in Gear 5th form, because all these attacks he's been taking while pinned to a tree haven't taken him out of Gear 5th form yet. So we still have a long way to go for this fight to be over, but the fact that we end the chapter with Gabon is super hype. Because he's trying to finish Luffy off with what he calls his 3rd weapon, which I'm sure he's summoned more than 3 at this point if I went back chapter by chapter and counted. But I guess since he landed hits on Luffy, it was the first one, it was Vohu that pinned him to the tree. Then he stabbed him again with Fragarak. And this would be the 3rd one, which is the axe of Xingshan. So, it's funny that the axe gets blocked by the guy that dual wields axes. It's Gabon time. I gotta remember to probably put another axe in the thumbnail. So, that's gonna be interesting. Alright. Thank you everybody for stopping by. We're gonna move into the outro now. This has been a wonderful read-through. We're getting so much lore. I get fascinated just by hearing names of stuff. It's why it's funny, and I brought it up in the past, that I think it's funny that one of the most popular and big chapters that broke the internet not too long ago was just a chapter where we got all the new bounties post, like, what was it, post Egghead, I want to say. Oda does not need much, because his story has been building up hype on its own, just passively over the years, that just giving these little tidbits of reveals is all it takes to put the entire community into a huge stir. And surprisingly, the fact that I've been gone for a week and I didn't get to react to this chapter when it came out, the fact that I haven't been spoiled means that I guess a lot of people aren't as excited about these reveals as I was. Or they weren't just shoving a bunch of names of swords on thumbnails, I guess. I'm probably going to go watch the Grand Line Review reaction to this chapter, or his little bit of his, Liam's little spiel that he gives about each chapter after this, so that's something I'll do on my own time. But as for the rest of you, stay tuned. I'm excited. I don't think there's going to be a break next week, since I believe there was one last week. So, look forward to more reactions from me in the future if you like that sort of thing. But if you want to see other stuff, I have a bunch of other content in the pipeline. I have a playthrough of Genshin Impact, as well as Honkai Star Rail. I have some playthroughs of like Diablo and similar stuff if you're really big into weapons and dark fantasy. And I could be tempted to complete that. Probably get one of my friends to finish the playthrough of Diablo 3 with me. I've beaten Diablo 3 many times, but I wanted to get a co-op playthrough for the channel just recorded, and it's been so long. I have a Sea of Thieves playthrough of the story as well. If you want some more piratey stuff, I did a playthrough of the story. And I'm still waiting on a friend so that we can finish the last mission together. But eventually that'll be up on the channel. I have 1/3 of the final mission edited already. And then lastly, I guess I want to plug here, because it's relevant, I am considering doing a playthrough of Echoes of Aincrad on stream, because I at least am a big fan of the Sword Art Online video game series. I like it better than the actual manga, as far as its storytelling goes. So I'm excited to see through that. And if you do, I highly recommend you watch Mother's Basement's video that they did on the weird movie that is attached to the game, because it is not very good, but it is very pretty to look at. So I would recommend checking out that review, or seeing the movie on your own time if you can. I'm sure someone will illegally put it up somewhere at some point. Or maybe they'll just release it on like a Crunchyroll at some point in the future. Because right now the only way to legally watch it, I believe, is to buy like the deluxe edition of the game, which is like $110. And I would not recommend that to watch the movie by itself. I would recommend you pick up the game if you want to play the game, not pick up the game and pay a bunch of extra money to watch like a 70-something minute movie. Anywho, that's going to be all from me. I will see you all in the future. Let me know if anything else interesting comes up that you would like to see me cover. I do some reactions and other content. And I also recently, I think the most recent video on the channel that I put up was probably a playthrough of Shadowverse's story. So if you like card games and fantasy, we have that there too. Anyway, signing off. Stay safe out there. I will see you all next time.